I listened to a fair amount of mariachi music last night.
Apparently, we both did.
Yes.
I don't know. It sounded like mariachi, and then it sounded like polka. They're similar in how they sound sometimes when they're played really fast, but polka and mariachi are two different music.
Why do you think they evolved to sound similar?
I don't know, but polka music actually comes from Bohemia. Not what country was I thinking? It doesn't come from Russia or Ukraine or.
This is a dumb question.
What?
And my geography, as you know, needs a lot to be desired. Or has a lot to be desired. Bohemia, it sounds like it's an Eastern European country.
I believe so.
Is it still around?
I don't know.
And is that where we get the term Bohemians from?
I believe so.
I
don't know too much about the country, honestly.
I remember, babes, when I was at Kellogg Middle School.
Yes.
We had these classes that we would go to, and the classes got to name themselves.
Oh, what do you mean?
So, like, I'm not going to say my teacher's last name, even though I remembered it, but they wanted it, let's just say his last name started with a B, and they wanted each class to have a name that started with the first letter of the teacher's last name.
Oh, okay.
And so we called ourselves the Bohemians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It was. It was cool that our teacher let us do that, because typically when you think of that word, the first thing to me that comes to mind is very artistic and a little bit of an outsider.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He was a really good teacher.
What teacher was he?
What do you mean?
You're a teacher.
He just, I don't know what exactly you would call him. We just learned general stuff there.
Was it like general science, general history? Was it general math?
I just say general topics.
Or was he like your homeroom teacher or something?
No, he wasn't the homeroom teacher. That was somebody else.
Okay.
I was attracted, babes, to, in that year, the teacher assistant in my homeroom class.
Oh.
And I also remember her name, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, you can tell me privately then.
Yeah, looking back on it,
yeah,
this would have been September of 94 through...
Oh, yeah, you were a little boy.
June of 95, she was probably only about 11 years older than me.
You were a little boy.
Yeah.
You're only 12?
No, 11 and 12.
11 going on 12.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes. And I didn't have enough experience to try to make something happen with this teacher. Probably good I didn't, or the teacher's aide.
Well, no, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
Probably not.
And you were definitely a minor at that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she would have been in big trouble.
Had to come out, which I probably would have blabbed. And she's probably into adults. Let's hope she's into adults now.
You never know. She might be gone already. Maybe.
It's possible.
But I don't know.
Anyway. Who knows, babes?
Anywho, but it was really loud. And you were saying, hey, maybe we should go downstairs and check to see, check the party. And I'm like, I don't think there's a party because I don't hear any people.
You and I had a debate whether or not it was live music.
Yeah.
I still don't know, but if I had to venture a guess, I would say yes. Here's the reasons why. You could hear announcements in between some of the songs, and it sounded like it was Spanish, so I couldn't really make out what was being said because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
But even beyond that, because somebody could just say, oh, that's maybe somebody's just listening to a Spanish radio
That's what
station.
I was thinking too.
But there was these long pauses sometimes. So there was a couple of times in the night where we thought the music stopped for good and then it just continued. So it would be like a 15, 20-minute pause, which if you've ever done a live performance, you know that sometimes there will be those breaks so that people can set up new equipment or just band members will change who's on stage.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking maybe it was live music.
But then I thought, that almost sounds like a keyboard because you know how keyboards have the drum noises?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it even has accordion noises.
I will grant you this. It did not sound like there was a live drummer.
No, not at all. I didn't hear any people clapping or cheering. I didn't hear anyone dancing. I didn't hear anybody telling them to shut up or whoever it was. I kind of thought maybe if it wasn't, because I thought it was upstairs, to tell you the truth. I thought it was upstairs. And I'm thinking, okay, it's either upstairs or it's across the street, which we decided that it was across the street.
I knew immediately it was across the street.
Yeah. I know.
You can tell because you heard it outside the window.
Yes. But it sounded to me like it was a one-man band. And I was like, why would this person be playing into the night? Like, it was already like 10 when I was, it was close to 10 when I was getting tired. And I'm like, what is this person doing? Why are they even, people are trying to sleep. I don't get that. So.
It went on for a while. Around 11:30, I tried to go to sleep. And I'm thinking the music stopped. I don't need my headphones. Because I usually just wear them anyways and listen to white noise.
Uh-huh.
But last night, I'm like, nah. And then like a half hour later, it started back up again. Wow. So I listened for a half hour and then I put on my headphones.
You were gone.
Then I was gone, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was odd. And then while we were listening to that, because we started listening to that about 8 o'clock after we watched our movies, because we had some time, but it was still early.
It was actually during the last movie when it started.
Okay, it was during the last movie when it started. Excuse me.
It's okay. And
then we stopped about, we went to the living room at 8 o'clock and decided to listen to some Take the Floor.
That was good.
For a little bit, yeah. To kind of drown out the other music, because we wanted to listen to some Scottish music.
At one point, it kind of sounded like they were playing together.
It kind of did, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that was very loud, and we never figure out who is actually doing it.
I told you that a fantasy I had, if I was sighted, which I'm not, and I'm not one of those blind people who thinks that my blindness is going to be cured or anything.
Right.
Because there's lots of people like that in the community.
Oh, exactly. Right. Yeah, I totally... Yeah, I understand that.
But if I were to hold on to the erroneous belief that I'm going to be fully sighted in my lifetime, one of the reasons I would do it is because I think it would be so fun just to drive to different areas where there's like very little noise and start blasting my music at full volume. And then I had the idea, if I was super rich, I could build a huge tent, take it out of a van, set it up, and just start playing music. On like Sunday nights.
That's mean.
Oh.
That is so mean.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Well, I don't have the ability to. Jaylo.
I know, but that's a dumb thing to do if you're sighted, Bubs, even if you weren't sighted.
Okay. Well, I can't really do it if I'm not sighted. Unless I had friends who had a van. And then that brings up a whole nother round of issues, so.
Bubs.
What?
Why would you do that?
I think it would be fun, babes.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
It's interesting music, though.
Yeah, it was interesting music, but it was so loud. It really was.
Yes.
It was really loud. And nobody was outside. I don't think anybody was outside listening to it.
I don't know about that.
I couldn't hear anybody.
I didn't hear anybody. That doesn't mean that they weren't there, just looking into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
It is, babes.
It is.
Yes.
But don't you think if it was a private party, it would be at a private venue where nobody could hear?
Yeah, I do.
It wouldn't be that loud?
I hear you.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know, babes. I don't know if we'll ever know.
I don't know, unless they start playing again.
Yeah, maybe you'll get to hear some more music tonight, babes.
I really hope not.
Oh.
I typically don't want to hear really loud music on Sunday evenings.
Yeah. Even if it's mariachi.
Well, if it's at a decent hour, but it wasn't at a decent hour. It just got later and later.
Yes.
And later. Because I didn't get to bed until 11.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh,
Nice.
Stop it.
Nice.
Shut up. Anyway.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Go to bed.
Go to bed now.
Yes.
Anyway. Otherwise, we had a really nice day.
We did.
We did.
Yeah. I'm still reading Team of Rivals, but I'm pretty deep in it now. They talked about people who the Lincoln family knew who went to war and died. So somebody who came with them from Springfield, Missouri to D.C. was one of the first Union soldiers to die during the war. He tried to capture a flag, and on top of this building, came downstairs and was shot by the store owner.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there was another general who they knew who was really close with the family who died early on.
Wow.
It's a really good book. Right now I'm at a part where Lincoln had a meeting with all these black leaders, basically saying, hey, we know that slavery is bad and all that stuff, but we don't know if you're going to have a lot of success here in the United States afterwards. So we're looking into buying everybody land. And if you guys could try to push the narrative into the black community that it would be to your benefit to leave the country.
For a while?
No, just to move out of the country.
To move out of the country?
Yeah, to this new place, we would really appreciate that.
But why would he want to move out of the country?
His thought was that they were never going to get like the full rights that a white person has. So why not build your own? And pretty much your response is what every black leader had at the time. Like, why would we want to leave this country? It's interesting that you want to welcome everybody else in here, but people who helped to build this nation, you don't want around anymore. So he got a lot of pushback from the black community because of that at the time.
Okay, was this before slavery was abolished?
It had technically just been abolished, but they were in the middle of the Civil War. So there were still slaves.
Okay.
In, the South.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you think you had a hard time reading Team of Rivals earlier, yeah.
I felt like I would get all these distractions. Like whenever I'd pick up the book, somebody would call me or something else would happen and I wouldn't be able to focus my full attention on the book.
Oh, I see.
But it's good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. They talked about the death of their son, Willie.
Little
Willie passed away.
Little Willie. Groundskeeper Willie.
Yes, I don't know if he was that, but there's him and his younger brother, Tad, and they had a couple of friends who were kids of people who the Lincolns knew. And after Willie died, Mary Lincoln refused to let the other kids who were friends with Tad and Willie come over to the house anymore.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So Mary Lincoln was probably really grieved over that.
I mean, there's what was it? She basically had mental illness. Didn't she die in a mental institution?
It's possible she did. I don't know much about this lady. I don't know much about Mrs. Lincoln, so I couldn't tell you.
She had a really sad life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is.
When was she put in a mental institution?
It was after Lincoln was assassinated a few years later.
Oh, wow.
It's not like today where when you retire, you just get tons of money from big corporations just to, be a mouthpiece for, Raytheon or Monsanto's. Back then, you didn't really have those sweetheart deals if you were an ex-president. I mean, maybe you could go on a speaking tour, but since he was assassinated, I don't think that she left Washington with any money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think she's pretty much broke. And they were also talking, too, about how when they moved into the White House, a lot of the furniture was really old.
Oh, I would imagine that.
And Lincoln was given an allowance of $20,000 to upgrade the living area in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said that Mary Lincoln just went through all the money almost immediately. And this was like 1860, so...
She was the one who decorated it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, redecorated it, I guess would be a better way to put it.
Yeah.
So she goes through all the money very quickly. And she wants an extension on the allowance. But by now, the Union is fighting the South. And Lincoln knows it's going to be a bad look if he's taking money... over 20 grand in 1860 to furnish his house.
Furnish his house, yeah, and I understand that.
Yeah, while other people are on the front line. So he refuses to do it. Mary Lincoln goes to the groundskeeper and somebody else and says, hey, why don't we just pretend that this money is in your budget? So you're going to write some paper saying that you spent X amount of money, and that'll be my money over the $20,000 to spend on this redecoration.
Wow. So she went...
Yeah, she went over his head.
She went over his head. Wow.
But then she kept spending even beyond that.
Wow.
And I think eventually they had to just say, okay, we're allowing an extension on this allowance.
That's crazy.
It is.
Wow. So she kind of went over her husband's head and did that.
Yeah, she was raised in money.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
If 20 grand back then wasn't enough. I know it's hard to do equivalent, like saying, okay, $20,000 back then is equivalent to like $1 million today.
It's hard to say that.
There's a lot of different factors to that.
Uh-huh.
But it's probably in the millions in today's standards.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, and then she would have these cool social events at the White House. Not that they didn't do that before, but I think she did more of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
What do you think about all this?
It sounds like Mary Lincoln had a huge shopping problem.
It does, doesn't it?
Like really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like worse than Imelda Marcos.
Maybe.
I mean, she did have over 200 pairs of shoes.
That's it? I thought it was several thousand.
I don't even know, but she had a lot of shoes.
Oh.
Imelda Marcos. Who knows if she wore them all? I don't know.
I doubt it.
All I know is that she had a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
Should have given my mom some of her shoes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. What do you think of what I've told you? Does this sound like an interesting book?
It might. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
It doesn't make Mary Lincoln look very good though.
No, but she was suffering with her own issues.
Yeah.
They had lost a son by the time they went into the White House. I think a couple years earlier.
Willie?
No, but Willie died in the White House.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
But they lost another one.
Exactly, before him.
And how many boys did they have?
I want to say 3 or 4.
Wow. That's really sad. That's really sad.
Back then, kids would just die of all these weird diseases. You know what it made me wonder, babes?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to scarlet fever?
I don't know. It sounds like it was eradicated. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened to scarlet fever. I heard it's a pretty bad disease.
It doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. Was it Helen Keller? I know Helen Keller had some kind of an illness that made her go blind.
It might have been scarlet fever.
It might have been scarlet fever, right?
Yeah.
I know that in some countries there's still malaria. Like, before I went to the Philippines with my family, we had to take these malaria pills.
Mm-hmm.
We had to take malaria pills and typhoid pills because the water wasn't sanitary and we weren't, a lot of the stuff you could get from the water. And we had to do that. And then we had to get, oral polio vaccines.
Ouch.
No, it was an oral one.
Oh.
I had an oral one and I also had a tetanus shot.
Wow.
Yeah, which actually, I didn't get a lot of shots before I left.
Nice.
Yeah, but yes.
I remember reading that I think both Martin Sheen and Francis Ford Coppola got malaria when they were making Apocalypse Now in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, you can get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the water. You got to stay away from the water. It's not sanitary.
Yeah, you had your own issues with that.
I did. We all did.
Yeah.
Diarrhea.
It was fun.
No, it wasn't fun at all.
Oh.
Imagine a whole family going to KFC in the Philippines and they all come back with diarrhea.
Oh
Not
my
fun.
goodness.
No, it's because of the water.
Wow.
In the ice.
Yes.
Yeah, the water. The ice came from the tap water, so
yeah, you don't even think about it.
You don't until it, and then it melts in your drink, and it's like, and then you gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah, it was bad. So each of us had a case of diarrhea.
Nice.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think my sister, when we got home, she got the Spanish fly thing.
She was unconscious or what?
No.
Somebody Cosby'd her?
No.
You said the Spanish fly thing.
It's a thing you can get from another country.
Okay, Spanish fly back in the day was code word for a date rape drug.
No, not that.
Okay, you know that's what it was
No, I
slang
didn't.
for.
No,
Yeah.
no. But there is something called the Spanish fly something.
Okay, so nobody caused me.
No, Bubs.
What?
Stop it.
What?
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh, you're
that
right.
was my hand.
Okay, but you attacked me. You attacked my pit. Give me a kiss. Unless you want to tickle it. Oh my goodness, don't bite my nose.
I didn't bite your nose.
Oh my goodness.
I could.
Oh, that's okay, babes.
I got sharp teeth.
Yes.
I think I have to look it up. It was called the Spanish fly disease. I think it was.
Okay.
It wasn't a date rape drug.
Nice.
No. Not that.
Well, I'm happy for it, babes, that you survived, and
but I have to check what that is.
you know that didn't happen, at least not in the Philippines.
No.
Oh, good.
No, but it could have been a boy.
It could have been.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're born.
Yeah.
We live and we die and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't believe that your soul existed before you were born.
No.
Okay, but how does that work if there's no time in the afterlife?
I have no idea. I can't answer that. That's a philosophical. That's a philosophical question that I cannot answer.
Yeah, because like one thing that I keep going back to in my mind is a lot of people say when you die. Who knows if this is true or not? Because people like to say stuff that you see like all of your dead relatives. And my question would be,
What do you mean? What do you mean, like in front of you?
well, I guess you go through some tunnel, apparently. This is what people say who've had near-death experiences.
I tend to question those things.
Yeah, my question would be, babes.
Yeah.
If that is real, and who knows, because I don't know what happens when you die, does that mean that your family greets you when you die, or they just greeted you at some point, and from your perspective, it's when you died? If time doesn't mean anything in the afterlife.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I question these near-death experiences because every time some people tell me about like, oh, I had this dream that I saw this yellow light or whatever it is, and I was going through a tunnel. Sometimes I wonder if they're seeing what they really want to see, but they don't really know what they're. It's not really what's really going on.
I've thought that too.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people said that, or that was my stomach.
Well, the way that I see it is, they don't greet you until you get to where you are. If you are, for example, if you're going to heaven, right? I don't think they greet you until you're there.
But does that mean that they greet you when you're there, or they greeted you at some point in the past and you're perceiving it as that because time isn't that important in the afterlife? See, that's what I'm wondering.
I think it's when you get there. I don't think it's... You mean like around the time that you die? I don't know.
Yeah, so like,
I mean,
do they hear like a thing from God saying, oh, just so you know, tomorrow afternoon, your great-grandchild is dying, you might want to be there? I don't think it's like that.
No, I don't think it's like that either. I think they're there when you get there. I don't think that they see you when you're dying, if that's what you're wondering.
No, what I'm wondering, I think we're getting our thoughts confused. Okay, if time isn't important in the afterlife, are they greeting you actually when you died, or could they have greeted you before you left? And you're just perceiving it as that because time doesn't make sense in the afterlife.
I don't believe I don't believe that they can greet you before you leave.
But but here's where we get in the conundrum. If time isn't that important in the afterlife.
Yeah, but you're thinking about time during your life versus during the afterlife. They're totally different times.
I know, that's why it's so confusing.
So I don't think that they can greet you before you leave this world, if that's what you're wondering.
Okay.
I never believed in visitation by relatives.
Nice.
I always had that. I know that there are people that say that they have feelings of their dead relatives, but I also think...
I'm one of those people, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I also wonder, well, is it really... Do you just feel it, or or are they actually in the room? Because sometimes people can say I can feel them, but they're not really in the room.
I think that is a very fair question, even though I'm one of those people who says that. Because you do always have to wonder... the mind has abilities to play tricks on you. So just because you believe something doesn't necessarily make it true. And then the other question I have is, let's say somebody was abandoned as a baby and they grow up in a horrible foster home and are beaten every day and died from one of the beatings. Well, does that, you don't want to see your mom when you get to heaven. You know what I mean? You don't want to see your mom who gave you up, who threw you in the middle of the street, just, there.
Well, how do you know that? I mean, now you think of it like they're going to remember, they're going to understand that when they die, right?
Yeah.
I think after they die, it's not really going to matter anymore whether or not they want to see their mom, because they don't know if their mom's going to be there.
Right, but I guess my point would be, who determines who's a loved one, right? So if somebody grew up and they didn't have anybody who loved them, who's going to greet them when they die?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard stories about people that were adopted into really good homes because their mother was raped, right?
Yeah.
They had a horrible experience with conceiving, and the mom was too young. She gave up the baby for adoption. The baby is adopted out and is growing up in a really good family, but she or he never sees the mom until she dies.
Right.
So that's a totally different scenario. I don't know about the foster situation, but I don't. But point being is that I don't believe that there is such things as visitations by dead relatives when you're alive.
It's also too, like, you think if you're dead and you're chilling out in heaven, you got a lot of more cool stuff to do than just hang out with some relative who's here on Earth watching Star Trek DS9. So why would you do that when you could just be like cruising around the galaxy or doing whatever? I don't know.
I don't think they would want to come back to Earth, quite frankly. I mean, they're busy doing whatever they do up there, and they're having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have time to go back, and I don't think they would want to go back.
You don't think that they would have time?
Well, not time, but what I mean is I don't think they would want to go back, period. Because their life on Earth is already done. Why would they want to visit their dead loved one? Okay,
let me ask you a question. And now this might be a little bit weird.
You ask me weird questions all the time.
We've already said this, and I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but if I die, one of the things I want to do is relive this life with the knowledge I have now.
That's not going to happen, but go on.
I'm going to at least ask for it. I'm going to make a request. But in not just Buddhism, in other religions, they believe in the idea of reincarnation. Now, I know you don't go that far, but let's say this. Let's say instead of just saying, I want to relive life as Rick, I go to God and I say, hey, I love chilling out here with you, or up here, or here with you. I don't know if it's up or down.
It's up.
Okay. I love chilling out here with you, but I want to go back to Earth as like Sally and have no memory of my past life. Can I do that? Or will God say, no, you were already at Earth. You already made it into the good place. Enjoy your time here.
Oh my goodness. Well, number one, I don't know if you'll be able to ask God that, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
Because when I think of seeing God face to face, I'm going to be so in awe that I probably would be at a loss for words.
I hear you.
I mean, I don't think I would think about, going back and reliving my life, because you can't relive your life.
No, but I hear you. And I'm sure the first couple of times that's going to be true, but eventually you kind of get adjusted, right?
How would you know that?
Well, don't you think that after a while of hanging out with God, you'd be like, I can slip in this question? Or do you think it would, like, for eternity,
I think
you're going to be in awe of God?
I don't know. I honestly think that I would be in awe of God the first time I see God's face, but
yeah,
I think our mindsets are going to be so different. You might not even think about asking God.
That's a real possibility that I have considered.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not saying, because we know my fantasy, but I'm saying a lot of people have the idea of not just they want to relive their life, but they want to be reincarnated on this planet. And you don't think that anybody will have any interest in asking questions like that when they're around God?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I honestly think partly we're going to know about a lot of things that we've wondered about on Earth.
I could absolutely see that being the case.
But I mean, I don't know if we'll even get to ask God those questions that we've been wanting to ask, because we might actually know a lot of it. So I can't, I don't know. I can't answer the question. I can't say yes or no, but I don't think that you'll get to live your life again.
I hope I do.
It's not up to you at this point.
I'm going to at least suggest it, babes, when I'm there.
That is, of course, if you get there. We don't even know if you're going to get there yet. So.
We have a pretty good idea.
No. You don't have any idea, Bubs.
Do we know for sure that I'm going to be there? No. But it's looking pretty good.
No, Bubs. It's not looking so good.
I would beg to differ.
I'm very, very skeptical about that. I'd love for you to go, but you may not end up there if you don't. If you don't shape up.
I think what's going to happen, babes?
Shape up or ship out.
Oh my goodness. No. I'm going to get in there and you're going to be like, but I get all this work and he just got him for free.
No. But anyway, yeah, the music was weird. Know where it came from.
Yeah, here's another God question.
Oh, no. I thought we were going to move on. But
we are. This isn't about reliving my life.
Okay.
By the way, I highly recommend that book, Replay, by Ken Grimwood. But anyways, there are other things that focus on this. In some way, Groundhog's Day does. But let's get off of that.
Thank you.
Yes. You think that God is going to be accessible. So he's not going to be like, let's say, a president where he has all these bodyguards and you can only hear about God and like watch his speeches on the heavenly equivalent of TV. But you can actually like hang out with him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, he's I think he is going to be ever accessible. So it's not like you can never, ever, ever, like he's too busy for you. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
So he can actually, you can chill out with him. Can you only chill out with him for specific times of the day?
I don't know.
Or because he's God and he can do multiple things at once, can you just like always hang out with him?
You're asking me the questions that I can't answer.
Okay, but what do you think?
I think it doesn't matter what time of the day it is because you're going to be spending eternity with God. So it doesn't matter what's going on because, like I said, I don't believe that there's a time in heaven.
Nice.
The way that we think of it.
Yeah.
I think.
You just farted.
Hey, Bubs.
I heard that, and my nose smelled that.
Oh, stop it!
Oh my goodness, keep going, babes. Babes, I don't know the smell.
You edit it. You edit it now.
I can't. I can't edit it.
Not right now.
I can't edit it that way.
But later.
Okay.
Edit it later.
I like you fart and I'm the one who gets punished for it.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I wasn't trying to. Believe me, I wasn't. I think it's embarrassing.
Before we were so rudely interrupted, you were telling me about time running differently in heaven. And I'm going to go a step further than you. Mm-hmm. If there is an afterlife, I don't believe time runs the way there that it does here.
Yeah.
But even more than that, I don't think we fully understand how time runs here in this plane of existence, for lack of a better term. Like, for all we know, time loops back on itself. So it's not like my thing where you relive your life knowing everything you know now, but it's like you relive your life and like it's the first time because it's just like looping back on yourself. And we've maybe relived these lives 1,000 times in the exact same way with no difference whatsoever.
I think you've been watching way too much Star Trek.
Oh, a friend told me that theory like years and years ago. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. So we just kept doing the same things over again. And maybe that explains deja vu.
I think people like to say that because they don't want to take accountability for what's going on in their life. They don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. Of course, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I'm very skeptical of that theory. I think it's just a theory, and that's why it's called a theory.
So you think we know how time runs in this plane of existence, then?
Yes, I do. And I think that we have a responsibility to use our time wisely while we have time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a reason why that humans experience time, but I don't think it is supposed to be wasted just because you think that it loops on itself.
Well, no, because the idea of it looping on itself is you don't know, is this the billionth time we've had this conversation, or is this like the first time? right? And we'll never know because it just keeps looping on itself, and we never find out any of that stuff. That's a theory I've heard. I don't necessarily believe it.
Okay.
I go ahead.
No, I just think that time should not be wasted while we're here.
Yeah.
Because time is so precious. You've heard that saying, time is precious.
Exactly. And
time is of the essence.
It's also one of those things, if you've lived this life 1 billion times and you're going to do it like 1 billion more times or even more than that, then why not make it cool now? Because you're going to keep doing it again and again. So have as much fun as you can.
Yeah, but if it were true that we could live 1 billion lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
Then why couldn't we change? I mean, if we had the ability to change some of the things that we did,
we wouldn't.
We wouldn't be able to do that.
No, we wouldn't have that ability.
We wouldn't have that ability.
We'd have no memory of us having done this before. We would have just keep doing it and doing it over and over again.
Yeah, that's a weird theory, though.
My friend said that to me once, and I thought it was interesting. And then somebody at the table, and there may have been some other stuff involved, said, no. He completely shot down my friend's idea. He's like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I have to agree with your whoever that was at the table.
Oh, he's actually a fairly prominent businessman who said, no, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to agree with said friend there.
Yeah. My friend, I think, compared it to a record that just keeps replaying itself. And he said that's what time is. Yeah, that's what our reality is.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe not.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my goodness.
Would you say that some of the people at the table were not exactly sober?
I might not have been. But this was a long, long time ago. This was years and years and years before I ever met my Jaylo. I wasn't even living in Portland then, babes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was. That's how long ago it was. Maybe even before then.
Hawaii.
Maybe.
The people from the south say Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
You're coughing, babes.
Oh, I had some guck in my throat.
Oh, well, I still love you.
I love you too. Don't worry, I'm not sick. I promise.
I love you there, Jaylo Guck.
Jaylo Guck?
Yes.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to my dreams later because I had some very strange dreams.
You did.
I had one yesterday afternoon, and I had one last night, which is very strange to me.
You do sleep a lot. Have you ever considered consulting a doctor about that?
No.
Okay.
No, because sometimes my body has to go through that.
That's true.
Not, just because people have bouts of insomnia doesn't mean that they're depressed.
Okay, but maybe there's another underlying issue.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't, it just means, sometimes when, it comes with the seasons, like when the weather changes, my body kind of feels, tired.
I hear you, babes.
And that happens when you're living in a state that has all 4 seasons, I think.
Allegedly. Even though it doesn't feel like it right now.
No, not yet. I think the sun wants to spend a little more time with us until it leaves. Yay. Yay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Babes.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. What's the point?
And
you say it a lot. What's the point?
Oh my god! Get your point, Bubs. You know what else I'm thinking real fast?
What?
We've talked about the book "Embraced by the Light" here before.
Oh yeah, that one.
But the lady who wrote it in the book, she says that God wanted her to come back to Earth, and she agreed to do it on the condition that as soon as her mission for whatever she had to do on Earth was done, she would die, like the second afterwards. And I believe she's still alive, and she's in her late 90s.
Who wrote that one?
I forget. Edie somebody.
Edie, was it like Edie? I forgot. I know what you're talking about. Edie something.
Yeah. You never read that book.
No.
Yeah, you don't need to read it.
No, I thought it was one of those weirdo books that, James Van Prague would be interested in talking about.
Were you familiar with it before I started talking to you about it?
I was not. I heard of Talking to Heaven, and that was written by James Van Prague, I think. And I knew a woman who was suffering from cancer. She was a friend of my mom's, and she was reading into that, and my mom was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
but I think I heard of Embraced by the Light, and I think you told me about it, but
Okay.
I think I may have heard of it before, and I'm like, yeah, it's one of those weirdo books where people have claimed that they've gone to heaven and come back.
Yeah.
Which I'm very skeptical about.
I am too.
Because every time I hear about that, they're like, oh, I felt like I was home, and I believe that Jesus had blue eyes. I'm like, okay.
That's weird.
That's weird. And then I saw Whitney Houston and she was wearing a garment of praise, and I'm like, you're a weirdo.
She told me she'll always love me.
No, this is what I heard from a lady on YouTube. She was supposed to be this prophetess or whatever.
Nice.
But she was very, very weird.
Mm.
And I didn't believe anything she was saying, but it was a weird. I mean, people come up with the weirdest ideas, and Embraced by the Light sounds like it's a really nutty book.
It is. It's fun to read if you're a kid and you don't take it too seriously.
And you read it when?
I think I mentioned this here when I was around 10. Because my mom read it a bunch of different times, and she had the audiobook and the print book. It was when she was reading that and going to the Church of Divine Men and reading another book called The Quest.
What is the Church of the Divine Men?
The Church of the Divine Man is this very like hippie new age type of thing.
Is it kind of like? Is it kind of like the Father Divine thing?
I don't think so. It's
okay, that one was odd.
Yeah,
that one was really odd.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
But pick up a copy of The Quest or don't, and Embraced by the Light, and you'll get an idea of why my mom was so nutty.
And there was some guy that used to be on TV that I never heard of, but his name was Wayne Dyer.
I've read Wayne Dyer books. I like Wayne Dyer stuff.
No, I never heard of this guy until my ex at the time told me about it.
I've been a fan of Wayne Dyer.
Actually, no, we were still together, and he told me that before his mom died, she was like really into Wayne Dyer, and like he's like this really weird person.
Yeah, no, I've read what was it? Is it The Power of Silence? Or is that that's Carlos Castaneda, but it's quoted in one of his books. I've read maybe 2 or 3 books of his throughout the years. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I started reading him around the end of 2005, and I think he passed away in like 2017. But yeah, I'm familiar with his work.
Isn't Wayne Dyer like some kind of like a new age
he is
guru or whatever?
I don't agree with everything he says, but I like some of his stuff. I think the problem I have with people is when they accept somebody like Wayne Dyer, like they're saying the gospel truth, instead of realizing that there are some things you can take away that could be valuable to your life. And there are other things that are, quite frankly, a little bit nutty. And just take away the stuff that works and leave the nutty stuff. If that makes sense.
Or leave it entirely. If you don't.
No, I think he does some good stuff. I don't agree with all of it, but he's got some stuff out there that I like. You know what we should watch, babes, at some point? The Tony Robbins documentary, I Am Not Your Guru.
Ugh.
What?
No.
Why not?
Tony Robbins.
You never read any Tony Robbins? Oh, that's right.
No.
We've had this before. I showed you some of his
videos. I just like, no, it's just not my thing. Is that the one where he convinces that one lady to break up with her boyfriend in front of the audience?
I did not like that. I thought that was very manipulative.
That was insane.
It was.
When he told me that, I'm like, he told her to break up with her boyfriend?
Yeah. Wayne Dyer is kind of in the mold of Tony Robbins, I think. There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
I have a very interesting story about how I discovered the works of Dr. Wayne Dyer. But it involves some adult stuff that I don't think Miss Jaylo would appreciate me sharing.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness. We're not going to hear yap bubs.
But I will say this because we were talking about B.D. Hyman and kind of making fun of this lady because
earlier this morning.
She is a little bit kooky. I was thinking about maybe having a little B.D. Hyman marathon, a little mini marathon of my own just to see how weird she was. Because when she was talking about binding spirits, I thought, yeah, she's a little bit of a nut job.
If we do that, we got to make some popcorn or have some chips.
No. I'm going to do this on my own, Bubs.
I want you to be involved with this, Bob. This is strictly a Jaylo thing. You're not invited, so don't ask.
Maybe we will one day, like just for kicks. But
just voicemail with onions all day. No, Bubba. No.
No, I'm kidding, Bubs.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could, but I mean, I wanted to see for myself how weird I can get into this because
they're fun videos.
They're funny. I can't believe, Bubs. I cannot believe that you skipped a meeting that you're supposed to go to just to watch it.
I was supposed to go to a transcendental meditation introduction class, and I was watching the video where she was talking about how her mom used to curse her enemies. Betty Davis used to curse her enemies and light pictures of them on fire, and I'm like, this is too interesting. I'm staying home and watching this.
Yeah. So was it mandatory that you go to this one?
No, this was the first one.
Okay.
And I just rescheduled it for another time. And I've heard a lot about TM. Now, there's some controversial things about the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, but I've heard other people got benefits out of TM. They said something in the class that really turned me off, though.
What?
If you start TM, you're not allowed to do psychedelics for, I think, 30 days before or after you finish the class.
That was the only thing that turned you off.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
And if you do psychedelics once, you have to take a break and then restart the training, if I'm remembering this right. Now, here's the problem with that. If you want to drink alcohol, you're allowed to do that.
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. So I could see if you were saying abstain from all these other things.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying abstain from this one thing, that's where I got a problem.
So you would have been okay with don't do anything like that at all when you're taking this class?
I could have accepted it.
Okay, and you would be able to deal with that instead of saying just don't do this.
Yeah.
But you can drink alcohol.
Like, it's weird. If you get a pot edible, you have to start from the beginning. But if you have a couple shots of vodka, you're good. That didn't jive with my way of thinking.
Well, I mean, and they're both mind altering. So I mean, it's like, well, if they would have said abstain from all mind altering substances, then you would have been fine with it. Because you would have understood that.
I could have dealt with that better. I would have continued on with the classes. Yeah. But that's why I'm like, nah, I can't do
like
this.
If they could have said, like, we want your mind to be clear at all times, so don't do anything like that.
Yeah, no alcohol, no smoking.
Yeah.
But they didn't say no smoking or no alcohol. They just said no psychedelics.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That doesn't make any sense.
And I wasn't planning to do psychedelics
when
I was doing the classes. But the point of the story is they frowned on that. And I thought that was a little bit unreasonable.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will not be doing TM there. Jaylo.
It sounds really like out there anyway.
It's not like traditional meditation. Supposedly they give you a word and you're supposed to think about the word for like 20 minutes a day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now apparently there were followers of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi who left the TM movement and posted how to do it online for free.
Uh-huh.
But I've never gotten that route.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they were caught up in that then.
They were into it. I don't know if caught up is the best.
They were deep into it then.
Yeah. I don't know if TM is a cult or not because I know that regular people do it and say that they get a lot of benefits from it. But some people are really deep into the TM movement. Yeah. I personally think that just doing breathing meditation is good enough for me. I don't need like guided meditation. Although I still need to do that loving kindness meditation about that ex that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. And it would probably help me just in general to do more loving kindness meditation for people.
Why don't you just pray for her? It's a lot simpler.
I don't believe in prayer. That's why.
Well, maybe you should, bud. Maybe you should try it sometime. It might actually change your mind.
Oh, you know what we could do, babes?
No, I'm not going to do loving kindness
meditation. No, you know what we could do, babes?
No,
hold on. You could pray for her twice and then I don't have to.
Bubs!
I want to pray for Bubs.
I don't know this lady.
Oh.
I really don't. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what you would want me to pray for her for.
Just, that she has peace and whatnot. It's either that or I do loving kindness.
Well, Bubs, I don't know her. Why don't you do it?
Well, I'll do the loving kindness meditation. All I was saying, babe.
I want to try something different before I change. Bye-bye.
I'm getting twiggly.
No, don't twiggle it.
Yeah, you're
Hey! Okay, okay.
Cool.
Okay, I saw.
Are we ending the Civil War?
For now.
Don't expect you to so ass here.
Okay, then.
Yeah, but in generally speaking, I don't do loving kindness meditation. Maybe I should just do more of it for other people as well.
Here's a question, because I'm still trying to understand this loving kindness meditation.
Go ahead.
Did you say you did loving kindness meditation when you were thinking about me? Is that correct?
Did I say that? Maybe I did.
You said you did, and I'm like,
oh, maybe I did. I don't remember this.
You said that you did when we were hanging out, but we weren't together yet.
It's possible I did, and I just forgot that I did it.
What is that for, actually? Is that just for people that you are upset with, or
no? It's just generally speaking, you want to do it for people who you have a problem with, but you can also do it for people that you're cool with too. And the idea, I know, sounds super hippie, and I've said it before, but it's to send positive vibes somebody's way.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Sending happy thoughts.
Yeah, that's why you play somebody, Bob. That's why you get your play.
Hey, Bob, so you're mocking. Boy.
I never would. I know.
No, you mocking.
No, I am the good boy.
No,
I am the good boy. Yeah, but I still need to do loving kindness meditation and all that stuff.
But you do that for people that you have problems with.
Generally speaking, sometimes you'll do it for people if they're just going through something. But usually you do it for people who there's some sort of an issue there.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have done it for you just to do it, but that's how most people do.
But as far as I understood it, you weren't mad at me.
No, but that's what I'm saying generally, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes.
Bloopy.
Oh, but we could also just do breathing meditation sometimes.
No thanks.
I remember, babes, when I'm talking to you on the phone,
yes,
and you found out that your sister was doing yoga because you're telling me the names of all these yoga poses, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a yoga pose, and that's a yoga pose, and you're really against yoga.
Well, we tried doing that when we were in our 20s, and that was really... We didn't understand.
It's very difficult as a blind person.
We didn't understand what yoga was really about, okay? She wanted to try it. She tried to teach me. It was really funny because she didn't know how to do that. And it's a very, very hard to teach a blind person if you don't know how to present the poses.
Yeah.
And then we found out more about the poses when we got older. In fact, my brother-in-law, when he was still a personal trainer, he changed the name of the poses to teach people how to do that if they didn't want to do yoga. But yeah, we found out later about the poses, and it has a very different spiritual connotation, and we're not into yoga at all.
Oh,
I
thought about.
Sounds very. Yeah.
I thought about getting more into yoga. It's difficult as a blind person, though. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it's impossible, though. But I would like to get more into yoga someday.
I heard Pilates is really good for your body too.
Yeah, but it's also yoga is they say yoga and meditation together is really good for you. So I don't know there, Jaylo. Yeah, and you're against meditation.
I am. That kind of meditation.
I am, Bob. I protest meditation.
A different meditation, boy.
Oh my goodness. Why still love you,
meditation,
I don't
believe you're mocking, boy.
Oh no, I'm good boy. Give the good boy.
No, you're mocking,
good boy a kiss.
No. You're mocking, boy.
I'm good boy, and I love you.
No.
I'm the good boy.
Wacko boy.
I'm the good boy.
Instead of To Kill a Mockingbird, it's To Kill a Mocking Boy.
No, it's To Kill a Good Boy.
No, just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
No one's gonna be dead. No one's dying. Okay. We made some really good sandwiches yesterday. It was really delicious.
We did, and by we mean me.
By we mean you.
Yes.
So you made really good sandwiches yesterday. Yes. I just provided the groceries.
It was good though.
Yeah, I have one more to finish in the fridge.
Nice.
And I think it should be okay.
And you have enough to make like 2 more.
Yeah, if I want to, yes.
Yes. We did basically bagels, toasted them up in the oven with hummus.
And we had cream cheese and pickles.
And
avocado.
And what else did we put on them? Pesto.
Pesto, yes.
Yeah. And we were listening to Cat Stevens, so we could say we put on hummus.
Uh-oh. Hamas. It's with an A, I think.
Okay.
Hamas. No. I don't know if I don't think he's a part of Hamas, although you would wonder because he apparently wanted Salman Rushdie dead.
Yeah, he does is in favor of some people being executed based on their words.
We did listen to the Who last night.
Yes.
And then we ended up listening to Cat Stevens until we were finished.
I'm excited to see the Who.
I am too, and I don't know much about their music, but there are songs that I like Who Are You and The Pinball Wizard.
My Generation. Squeezebox,
yep.
We were trying to look for books about the Who on Bard and Bookshare, and it was a little bit difficult to find any. Yeah. I found some on Keith Moon and Roger Daltrey, and a couple that Pete Townsend had helped write. But that was about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I'm sure they're out there, but just not where I was looking.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
And then, babes.
And then.
We watched some movies.
We watched the sequel to the first Ipcress file movie.
Was it A Funeral in Berlin or Funeral in Berlin?
Funeral in Berlin, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Tell me.
Actually, I'm going to let you take this one.
Yes. I'll make it super fast.
Because there's a lot of things that happen in this movie.
That's why I wanted you to do it.
No, you do it.
Okay. Basically what happens is Michael Caine plays Harry... Palmer.
It's kind of a funny name.
It is kind of a funny name. And he's with a girl, gets a phone call from his boss, goes to his place, and finds out that there's a dude in Berlin who's willing to defect.
Yeah.
So Palmer goes over there, has to get the fake ID first, and runs into a friend who's helping them. And apparently him and Harry had some underworld dealings before, and Harry had to go and do his job in order to get out of going to prison.
Right.
So we don't know how long ago this was, but it was before the first movie.
Right.
That's how he got into the spy game, I think.
Okay.
They find, was it the general? The guy who wanted to defect, was he a general?
He was a communist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was.
And he said, I will go over to your side. I want a general's pension, and I want my own crib with a garden. Crib meaning slang for house.
House, yeah.
Yeah. But he's like, I want this specific person to help me get me out of here, and I'm not telling you guys everything, only a couple of secrets.
Yep.
Harry runs it up the chain of command, gets the okay, and by now he's falling in love with this Israeli agent who wants some info off the defector, I believe.
Yeah, her name is Samantha or Sam.
Yeah, and Sam wants this info so she can go to Switzerland and get this money before anybody else can. That was based on this, or to get this art.
Yep.
Yeah. That was stolen during World War II from the Jews.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is after Harry has sex with her, does his thing, meets up with the guys who are going to get the general out. There's a whole commotion there.
Yep.
And the general eventually gets to where he's going after a funeral is faked.
Uh-huh.
They don't have the right papers. Harry goes back, gets the papers to your girl, and his friend dies because his friend tries to double cross Harry, and that's the end of the movie. I skipped a lot because there's.
I liked it though; it was good.
I did. I think I liked the first movie a little bit more though.
I did too. There's a lot of funny things in there.
Yeah, there's a few jokes here, but not as many.
Yeah, the first one was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
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 And he still works for Ross, who is very
not the best guy.
Not the best boss ever. Yeah.
No.
After he kills Dolby, he works for Ross still. And it's like, why do you still work for an old guy like that? He's like, his wife asked him, and he's like, loyalty.
Ross's boss asks Harry that question.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you still work for that old guy?
It's a good movie. It makes me want to read more spy novels. I haven't really delved into that genre.
No.
I keep hearing about this guy, John Le Carre. Is supposed to be really good.
John Le Carre?
Yeah. I think he died a couple years back. But...
So you want to read spy novels, not so much mystery stuff?
Maybe a little bit of mystery, but some spy stuff mixed in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Get a full sense of that world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good. Then we watched Darling.
It's Darling,
I thought
not
it was
Darling. You're thinking of you're thinking from Diana from Texas. Or somewhere in the South. No.
Okay.
So this lady, Diana, is played by Julie Christie, and I guess she's being interviewed. Is that correct?
She's telling the story of her life, and we don't quite know who she's telling the narrative to. And it's never really revealed, which I kind of like, actually.
Yeah, and she's showing clips of when she was very little, and she had siblings, like her sister Felicity and some other people, and it seemed like she wanted to be at the center of attention. And then at 20, I think about 20 years old, she ends up marrying this guy named Tony, but he was super young, and they were both young and both very immature. And while she's still married to him, she ends up seeing this guy named Robert, who she finds out later has a wife and some kids.
Yeah.
And she said, well, if I knew that he had kids, I would have never have dated him. I wouldn't want to do that to his family. But she kept dating this guy.
Exactly.
She kept dating the guy. Time goes by, finds out that she's pregnant.
And first she's happy about it. And by now she's an actress too. Her career's starting to pick up.
Yeah. And then she gets pregnant, and then she has the abortion.
And the reasoning is so dumb. She's like, and I just started to think about what it would do to my career. So I decided to have an abortion.
So she decided to have an abortion. So we're finding out now that she's very, very self-centered.
Yes.
And she comes back from the abortion, and a lot of times when you see girls have abortions in movies or shows, they seem really happy about it, but she wasn't happy. She just seemed emptier than she was before, which is kind of interesting. And then Robert says, hey, why don't we get married? But he's still married to his wife.
Yes.
Then time goes on. She starts to see this guy, Miles,
who's helping her with her career. And I believe they actually started seeing each other before the abortion.
Yes.
But their relationship picks up more. She goes to France, and she's still with Miles at the time. And hey, where's Kate go?
And then so she goes to France. She's still with Miles, and then let's see. She comes back, and she was basically saying, I didn't want to hurt Robert, because by this time Robert didn't know about her affair with Miles.
He might have suspected something.
He might have suspected, but he didn't actually know. Would you like to fill it in? Okay,
when she was in France shooting a commercial for chocolates, she starts seeing this other dude, Malcolm, and then there's this Prince dude.
When she goes on vacation to Italy.
Yeah. And so she's back, she's doing her thing, things start to go...
She divorces Tony.
Yeah, but things are not going good with your buddy Rob.
Yeah.
So she ends up moving in with, was it Tone? Me?
No, she divorces Tony.
No, but you're right. And then she goes with the prince.
She ends up marrying the prince and inheriting 7 kids.
Yep.
And because the prince decides to marry... Because she does leave Robert for that time.
Exactly. And she's in the palace. The prince is like, I'm going to go see my mom. I want you to watch these kids. And
he goes to Rome.
Can't get a hold of him. So your girl Diana flies back to be with Rob
Which was a really bad idea because Robert was never really invested in her.
Yeah, he sends her back home, and because she's a princess, when she's at the airport, somebody like a reporter starts asking her questions, and she's like, "Family is the most important thing
that anybody could ever want."
And that's basically the end of the movie.
I did not like her character. I thought she was very flighty.
Yeah.
I also thought she was very selfish, but she played the part really well.
That's why she won an Oscar for this.
Yeah, she played it very well. She didn't know who she wanted, though. She could never be satisfied with what she had.
I don't know if you could have made this movie in America back then.
I don't think so.
I mean, obviously, because we don't have a royal system, and you'd have to change some of the locations, but just like casually having an abortion in the 1960s.
Yeah, I know. Didn't get really big until 1973. So
I mean, it happened before then.
But they were secret.
Yeah, I don't think you could just be doing it like, oh, I just decided to have an abortion because I realized I was going to ruin my career. Not in a mainstream film. I thought this film would have been better if it was maybe 15 to 20 minutes shorter.
I agree.
I would have cut out a lot of the stuff dealing with her vacation.
I know.
That's the section of the movie that I think would have seen some editing if your man was in charge of it.
Well, and also, too, I mean, you don't really know much about the prince, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, actually, I want to marry you, even though some other guy is thinking about you, but I really want to marry you. You know.
The other section I probably would have shortened was when she's at the party with Miles.
I know.
And they're pretending to be her and her husband.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird.
Yeah.
And why were they dancing around? There was not a lot of explanation about that.
But it was good.
It was good. I don't know why though she kept going back to Robert when she knew that Robert really didn't want to be with her. He was just using her. And why would she go back to Robert? Because she was already married by then. Again. And it's like she just couldn't be happy. And it showed that she couldn't be happy.
I think some people are like that.
Yeah, I noticed that there are. I mean, I've met women in my life over the years that they just can't be without a guy. They can't be without a man. It's like they break up with one guy and then they're with another guy afterwards. Like, not that long. And I'm like, you guys, why can't you just be by yourself for a while? Take care of yourself.
But it's also, she gets this guy who's a prince. Like, literally. She's a princess now.
Yep.
And that doesn't even fulfill her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She just could not find a way to be happy with whoever she was with. Miles wasn't. Miles was trying to help her out, and she wasn't happy with him. She said that she loved him, but who knows if that was even true. Malcolm, I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah.
She probably used him. And then the prince actually seemed like a nice guy.
He was, but we really don't know much about this except that he was with a lot of women before this because he had 7 kids.
Or maybe it was one. Maybe he had a wife that died.
Maybe.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just know about Robert.
Roberto. He seemed like, even though he cheated on his wife with Diana, Robert seemed like he had his head relatively together compared to all the other guys she was with.
Maybe. But she was such a fool for going back to him when she knew that it wasn't going to work. And she was the one who kicked him out of the house. Yeah,
because there's at one point, you're right. Because like Miles comes, no, not Miles. It's her first man,
Tony.
Tony comes because there's like an author near the beginning of the movie that he interviewed, and Diana was in the room, and he comes to talk to her about that. And remember, she hadn't read any of this author's books, but she goes to the funeral.
Oh, I remember that.
And some reporter goes up to her. She's like, oh, yeah, I was good friends with him. I was a big fan of his books. And the reporter's like, what was your favorite books? And
all of them.
Her response was all of them.
I had to laugh at that one.
This was before she was a princess. That was great.
I thought that was so funny. He's like, oh, all of them. Or what about those 3 old guys that was trying to get her angle? Trying to get a picture. Yeah. Well,
so what does this film teach us about celebrity?
Well, as I've said before, there are some celebrities that can't do anything because people have they've become so much of a household name that they couldn't leave their apartment, or they couldn't leave their palatial house or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? Palatial estate, I should say. And so I think about that, and how many times you see a person's face on a magazine, right?
Yep.
I wonder what they think, like, do they think, ooh, cool, I can see my face on a magazine, or, oh, I can't believe I'm on a magazine again. I don't want to see my face.
I think it varies with the person.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's a lot of fiction there too, because I've heard, and I don't know how much of this is true, that a lot of celebrities who complain about having their photograph taken everywhere they go will actually call the press and let them know that they're going to the specific restaurant before they leave their house.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not all just, oh, the press is wherever I'm at. It's the press is wherever I'm at because I tell them ahead of time where I'm going to be. And then you complain about how you can't stand the paparazzi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that's true with everybody, but
yeah,
some people that is.
Yeah, but there are some people that had to get restraining orders because somebody was stalking them.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's different than a member of the press.
I know, but paparazzi can be brutal too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so paparazzi isn't... it's one thing to have one stalker. It's another thing to have paparazzi trying to get into your business when you're eating with your family or something.
I remember there was something in the late 90s where Uma Thurman... There were naked pictures of her, supposedly, that were taken at, like, a private beach. Oh. But there was a reporter, or a camera person, rather, across the street.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That took a picture of her?
Yes.
Wow. Did she sue this person?
I forget how it ended up being resolved. But I remember hearing the story back in the day.
I heard she's really pretty, though.
She was back in the day. She was very hot.
Yeah.
She's Mia Wallace. She could get Marcellus Wallace. She's got to be good looking.
Mia Wallace?
Yeah.
Where?
She's Mia Wallace.
Where?
In Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay.
And she married Jesse, so,
Oh, my goodness.
She's got to be doing something right.
Different movie, Bub, different movie.
Oh, my goodness. And he's apparently, the rumor was that Ethan Hawke cheated on her.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Celine. No, I don't know. If it was with...
With Julie Delphi?
Yeah, I don't know. I made that last part up. That should not be taken.
Yeah, they weren't married for very long. I think they had a couple kids or something. Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff there, Jay. Well, good. Getting back to the film. What do you think happened to Diana over the years?
I think she died a lonely old lady. Well, because eventually, I have a feeling that she wasn't going to be with the prince for very long.
Yeah.
Because she just wasn't happy, and she spent the rest of her life living in a cottage in London.
I don't know how much of this is just me thinking about a particular situation, but the character of Diana made me think about Princess Grace Kelly.
Oh, really?
Because let's think of it. Princess Grace, a celebrity, and I know Diana wasn't on that level.
Yeah.
But she's known in her little circle.
Yeah.
Who marries into royalty.
Yeah, she marries Prince Renier.
And maybe that just happens to be, there was no correlation between what the screenwriter was thinking or what the director was considering when making this project. But it just so happened to get into my head.
Huh. Yeah, but Princess Grace died in was it a car accident?
I believe so, yes.
So she died tragically, though. But we don't know how happy she was with Prince Renier, and he ended up dying years later, obviously.
Oh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, she was in some good movies.
She was in some great films.
The Country Girl.
Yeah.
So good.
Not to mention Rear Window.
Rear Window, yeah.
To Catch a Thief.
Yep.
Oh.
That's so good.
Yes.
So good.
It is. And I think she met Rainier when shooting To Catch a Thief.
She met the prince when okay.
And that's how they started getting together. So if it wasn't for Alfred Hitchcock, she might not have become a princess.
Bubs.
What?
Stop.
That wasn't that his name?
Alfred Hitchcock, yes.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock.
Bubs.
What?
Stop that.
That's his name, babe.
I know you're making fun of it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying his name.
the emphasis on Hitchcock.
What?
What? What?
That's his name, Alfred Hitchcock.
Bubs!
What? Is that not his name?
It's Hitchcock, not Hitchcock. Bubs.
Oh, interesting. Well, we have different pronunciations.
Yeah.
But now, with Darling.
Not Darling.
Oh.
Not
Darling.
Not Darling. It's Darling.
Yes. I'm wondering, what would you rate this movie?
I think I would rate it maybe just a 7 because it was too long.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought her character I didn't really like her character very much, but she did play the part, and I thought that the people in this movie were really good too.
I know that she won the Oscar over Julie Andrews, who was competing in The Sound of Music.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Julie Andrews had just won an Oscar the year before for Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. But I actually think that Julie Andrews gave a better performance in The Sound of Music.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. She's very good.
She's great as Maria von Trapp.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no one can forget Maria von Trapp.
No.
Her performance is that.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like a hand injury, I guess you could forget her then. But no, seriously, if you have amnesia, you might not remember.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But they were both good in their movies.
Yeah.
But I do agree that Julie Andrews had a better performance.
Would you recommend this movie to your family? If so, how do you sell it to them?
I just think that it's a really good old British movie, but it talks about the perils of not being happy, or not the perils, but the struggles of not being happy and going from one relationship to the next.
It's about life in a gilded cage in the 1960s.
Exactly. It sounded like she came from money, though.
It did.
Like, oh, I wanted whatever I wanted, and if I think you're expendable, I'll just get rid of you.
Yes.
That's what it seemed like to me. Like, I want to be with Robert, but I can't, so I'll get rid of him.
Yes.
And I want to be with Miles, but I want to be with Robert, even though I know Robert's not vested in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to marry a prince because I'll be royalty, even though he has 7 kids.
Yes.
I don't know. She's just never happy.
No.
She's never happy.
No.
And I remember when the somebody asked Felicity, her sister, how can it be that you guys had the same parents, same background, and you guys are different people? And she's like, I know.
I thought they asked Diana that, but maybe it was Felicity.
It might have been one of them.
I'm sure it was.
I think it was Felicity.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was the one with the she was the one that had the family and the kids, and she seemed like she had her head on straight.
I would say she's doing better.
She
doesn't
much better.
seem like the best mom.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
maybe not the best mom, but she did have her head on straight a little bit.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you would recommend this to the fam.
The fam.
Yes.
Yes, I would recommend it to the fam and the rents.
Okay.
And the Tivs.
Oh my goodness.
No, just kidding. I don't know what relatives is abbreviated. The Rels? The Rellas?
The Rels.
The Rels.
Or the Tivs.
The Tivs.
Or the Tivs.
Tivs.
Yes, the Tivs.
That's funny.
Thank you. Babes.
Tivs.
The Tivs. We're going to see the Tivs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, bud.
Yes, babes. You had a couple of dreams, and so I had one, but tell me about yours.
What should I start with first?
How about the one you had yesterday?
Let me start with the one I had last night, and then I'll start with the one, and then I'll finish with the one yesterday afternoon, because that was the weirdest one.
Okay.
So last night, the dream that I remembered most is there was a CD being advertised, and I think it was being worked on, and it was called My Cancer, of all things. And what you would hear on the CD is people talking about their cancer survivor stories. And the person that was advertising said, if you have a story you'd like to tell, contact such and such, and we'll put it on the CD. And then I woke up.
Nice.
It was very weird.
Yes.
Now, here's a weird one. Okay. So, I went to my aunt and uncle's old house, and I ended up talking to this woman named Megan, which is kind of strange. She and her daughter were there, and we were talking about I can't remember the stuff we were talking about, and I was sitting in the backyard, and she was making, I think it might have been like some kind of pasta dish, like chicken fettuccine alfredo or whatever, and iced tea. And she was making that, and all these people were at this party that my aunt and uncle were having, and my relatives were, I guess, were there somewhere. And then, she announces that there's iced tea in the back, and she's excited about the dish she made. Then I sit next to this, I'm sitting on this couch, okay? And I'm sitting to the left of this woman, and I believe she's an older woman, and she has one arm around me, and her right hand is holding my right hand. And we're just talking about whatever it is we're talking about. And then I ask her, do you live around here? Do you know my family? And she says, I know your aunt. And the weird thing is that she told me that she knew my aunt, but she used the name that I would call her.
Nice.
And she said, I knew your such and such. I won't say what I call her.
Okay.
And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I said, did you get to say hi to, and I mentioned my cousin's name. She's like, yes, I said hi to your cousins, and your cousin had the 2 babies, and, they all gave me hugs, and she was just happy to see them. And I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. So apparently in my dream, she used to work with my aunt.
Nice.
And then I woke up.
Well, good.
I thought that was very strange.
Go there, Jaylo.
What do you think about that?
I had explored the idea that maybe you're sharing a dream with somebody in your family, but maybe it's you've had the dream and they'll have it in like 50 years and it'll be a similar one, or it'll be the same one. And maybe you guys are just connected to this dream through in some weird like time thing. So she's going to have the dream one day that you just had, and then she's going to wake up and say, I was just hanging out with Alana.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It might be the case. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. But the one with the older lady that was saying that she talked to my aunt, that was the weirdest part of the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go there, Jaylo.
And that wasn't even the weirdest part, like the woman who had the same name as one of my relatives. So yeah. The older lady part was weird. But anyway, I want to hear your dream because
okay. Yeah. So this morning / last night, I had a dream that I'm the same age that I am now, but I was off at some weird school trip. And we ordered Indian food. It came really, really late. We're all at this big dining table. A bunch of us decided to save our food to the next day. So next day comes, I'm at the table again with my teacher and a bunch of students. And I say, well, I ordered the lamb dish. She has a bite of it without asking me, and it's hamburger. She says, well, there's some lady from the Indian restaurant in our kitchen right now. You should go and talk to her. And she gets the whole table to say this to me, that I need to go and talk to her. They go into some line. I go to talk to the lady from the Indian restaurant, who, spoiler alert, is white. And she says to me, well, so who tasted your food? Could you go get them for me? And we can work this out. Maybe we'll give you a discount or a rebate. I go to look for my teacher, and that's when I wake up.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That's weird. Have you noticed that we both have had dreams where we're the same age, but we're back in school or we're back at camp?
I have.
It's kind of strange.
It is.
It almost feels like we're reverting back to old memories.
Yeah. Well, I've heard some people say that our generation is going to be the last one that has shared nostalgia. So we grew up in the 1990s when the internet was around, but it wasn't as big as it is now. And one of the problems with it is there's so much like narrow casting. So if I grew up in today's world, I could be into the furry community and you could be really into monster truck rallies. And
monster truck rallies?
I'm giving it an example. Babes.
Okay.
And because of that, we're not going to grow up and talk to each other. And we might say, remember YouTube, but I'm going to say, yeah, I remember all those hours watching furry videos. And you're going to say, yeah, I remember all those hours watching monster truck rallies. As opposed to coming from the time we were born, we could relate to things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Forrest Gump.
Yep.
But there's not going to be that shared nostalgia going forward that we have.
Me and like we've done more stuff than than the younger generation.
Well, we've done more shared stuff, I guess.
Shared stuff, right?
And that's not going to be the case going forward. Some people have said that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true. Because it's a different shared nostalgia for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think what's different with us and them is that we didn't have any time to sit around on our devices. We had other things to do.
I hear you.
We didn't have those things around.
I can make the argument that we sat around watching TV. It wasn't our quote-unquote device.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just specifically ours. It belonged to the family.
Yeah.
But we did sit around the TV.
That is true. And we did. There was a time in our lives both of us had where we didn't really want to read that much. Yeah. I mean, I had that when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to just read a book. I wanted to watch TV or do something else. So I don't know if we'll be the only generation with shared nostalgia.
Well, the last generation.
The last one, no. I don't know if I agree with that.
Time will tell, babes.
Time will tell. Yes. But it's fun talking about nostalgia.
It is.
It is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Well, good, babes.
Yes. Well, I forgot to mention, the weird thing about that dream I had yesterday afternoon was that it was a cold, windy day, and we still had like a party outside in the backyard, which is kind of strange.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Jaylo?
Yeah?
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Maybe we should kiss and then you could kick me out.
I'm afraid so. Bye-bye.
Okay, Jaylo. Well, don't be too afraid.
Oh.
I'm not.
Oh. Bubs.
Babes, normally.
Okay? Hey, I was the one who said that.
Normally.
Hey.
Come on. Babes,
what?
It's time to be an adult. Okay, normal
it's
kissing.
time for you to be
normal kissing, babes.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Jaylo.
Okay.
You feel good?
Yes.
Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right.
I'm just really excited about Thursday, and yeah, we'll be talking about that
soon.
Soon.
Very good, babes.
Okay.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.